3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Heidi ho! Welcome to a special afternoon. It's not 7 o'clock. No, it's 2:30 in the afternoon, and you're going, dude, guys, what are you doing? You're 4.5 hours early. Well, it's Dennis's wife's birthday, and like a good husband, he's taking her to dinner.
That's right. We've got plans, so we had to do it. So hopefully all of y'all went out there and you subscribed, so you saw that we were going live early.
That's right. And fun fact, Dennis lost her birthday card.
Yeah, I did. So, you know, the funny thing is, I bought it way ahead of time, like I usually do. But we had bought everybody's
What is way
cards.
ahead of time? Just out of curiosity.
Month and a half.
Jesus Christ. Like if today was Helen's birthday, I would have bought it yesterday.
Yeah, see, I buy everybody for like the next month, month and a half. I go out and buy everybody's cards and get them ready.
So you have my card for November already?
No. That's a little
it.
far. Well, yes.
You'll buy it in
Yes.
September.
So I went and then I snuck it in there because she was with me because we were buying everybody else's cards, so she didn't know I bought it. And I go and hide it. And then immediately, you know, I hid it in a special spot. Well, she was looking for something one day and she goes, oh, I bet it's there. And I'm like, seriously, you never look there. So I quick ran in to the bedroom, pulled it out of the hiding spot, hid it in a second spot. That's cool. She came in like a week later. Oh, I'm looking for this. I'll bet it's there. She went to that hiding spot. I'm like, oh my God. So I says, that's it. I'm hiding it somewhere really hard that she'll never be able to find it.
That's funny.
The problem is, I can't find it. I forgot where I hid it in such a good spot.
I love the fact that you forgot where you hid it.
I did. I did a month and a
up.
half ago. I got like 6 places that I thought I may have hid it in that would make perfect sense.
But wait,
and
what
they're
about
not in any
what
of
about the other cards you bought back then?
Oh, they're all on the cupboard because
Oh,
you know I actually just sent out my buddy Chad, his son, his birthday's coming up, so that was the last one, so it's all sent out. Hers was the only one that I had to hide. It's gone. So I had to go buy an emergency duplicate card this morning.
You didn't find the exact same card.
You know, the funny thing is, I read the card and I'm like, huh, this is really familiar. Like this might have been the card, but I always write on it. So I wound up having to write up new stuff, but I always put a coupon on there and I put duplicate coupon.
Right.
So, you know, so if we ever do find it, she can't have 2 of them.
That's right. Coupon. You get a Susie day. But you only get to use it once. So if you find the real card, you don't get 2 Susie days.
Right.
You get 1 Susie day.
Yep. And it says duplicate right on the coupon.
That's right.
And I did put exceptions do apply. See Dennis for details.
Don't be taking advantage of me with my card. I can't wait for my coupon and my birthday card.
That's true. We do a lot of coupons. Matter of fact, I've got a whole stack of my cards from over the years. We always put coupons in there. The problem is, when I try and redeem a coupon, it never seems to be redeemable. These are worthless coupons. Just saying. Now everybody knows, Susie, worthless coupons.
Oh. All right. Well, let's start the show. We're going to be talking about, obviously, it's Wednesday, so the new books we got. We're going to talk about Children of the Atom, a new X title that came out, I think, 3 weeks ago, something like that. We both read it, so we have thoughts on that. We're going to talk about
Orphan and the Five Beasts.
Orphan and the Five Beasts. Dennis has read it. I didn't get a chance to, but I did look through it, so at least I can say what I think about the art. And we're going to chat about Invincible, the cartoon now on Amazon Prime, based on Robert Kirkman's superhero book from Image, Invincible. And I actually know somebody that works on the show as a storyboard.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we might have to try to get him as a guest for one of our Mondays.
Yeah.
So
it's Wednesday. So we both went and hit our prospective comic book shops and picked up our books.
And what did the boys get starting off?
It's mine.
It's both.
We both get
Oh
this
my
one.
God. You're so selfish, Dennis.
I am.
Damn it, I already flipped past it way too
Wow,
quick.
way too fast. Oh my God! It's like your
No,
little
this
trigger finger.
this is one we both get.
It
I
is.
get X-Men. I've gotten it since issue 1. I will admit there's a couple issues, fill-ins I did not buy because I was not keen on the artwork. And yes, I'm sorry, but if I'm not keen on something, I'm not going to get it. So I think I'm missing 2 issues. Oh well. But I really like, Linnell Francis Hughes started the book. He's still doing covers. I love his art, and now the new artist is Mahmoud Asrar, and I love his art, so I'm there.
Yeah,
and the story's pretty good.
And Jonathan Hickman, he's been built. I said this is a world building one. It's been good. I've enjoyed it since the beginning, so I will continue to pick up as usual. Everybody knows I always pick up all the X books, although that may change, and we'll get into that later.
Dennis picked up Beta Ray Bill. I did not.
Yeah, love Beta Ray Bill. So excited to see this come out. I don't even want to flip through it yet because I want to wait it. I'm probably going to do a short on this one and find out. I have been so excited for them to do something Beta Ray Billish. So very excited for this book. I hope they do him justice.
Dennis is like my tester. He'll read it. If he likes it, I might buy it. It's like food. Here, Dennis, try this. Oh, it's garbage. Thanks, Dennis. I don't have to eat that.
It's like Life cereal. Mikey, we'll get Mikey to try it. He hates everything.
That's right.
He likes it. He likes it.
Oh, this is another one that we both got. X-Men Legends #2. I love the throwback era. Fabian Nicieza is writing it. Brett Booth is drawing it, penciling it. I think it reminds me of the comics from the 90s. This was just a 2-part story, so obviously I bought it so I could see how it ends. Issue 3 is the return of Walt Simonson and Louise Simonson. So much looking forward to issue 3. Nothing against this one.
No, this is good. By the way, we're at some point going to have to do a review on these. So I really enjoyed the first one. This one looks good. I did a real quick flip there at the comic shop, liking it. But yeah, I can't wait for issue 3.
Yep. So that's one we both got. Now we're just going on to Dennis Decider. 2 Moons. We reviewed it. Wasn't my cup of tea. Not a Civil War guy.
I liked it. I thought it had promise. So I'll probably do a solo review on this when I get back. So I'll probably do a quick flip and let everybody see it. Then I'll try and do a solo review on it and post it.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Shadecraft, new book from Image. I'm familiar with the artist Lee Garvette. He's done a lot of stuff for DC, stuff for Marvel. I don't think this is his first outing into the creator world. So, it's spooky.
I picked this up on a whim. I picked it up and looked through it because I didn't have it on my poll. And I said, you know what? That looks interesting. I'm going to pick it up and give it a shot and find out. You just never know.
Yeah, it's spooky looking. So we'll have to see. Cult of Dracula. That is one I'm not familiar with, so it's a Dennis get.
Also, another one that wasn't on my poll list, which is funny. I don't even remember seeing it in the previews because I usually go through, find out in the previews anything that's really new or looks different, and I'll try and get some information, find out if I want to pull the trigger on it. I don't remember seeing this one solicited. I'm sure it was. Somehow missed it. I picked it up. I thank you, Tony, for having at least a couple of extra issues. So I picked it up and looked through it. And I'm like, this looks interesting. I'm going to pick it up and give that one a shot.
There you go. This is what we'll be talking about. Is that it for this week then?
Yeah, it was actually a pretty small week. And it was a pretty small week all the way around.
I got something else that we didn't find a screen cap for, and because of the size I wanted to show. This Fantastic Four Treasury size, so you can see the size difference compared to the regular comic. It's larger. It reprints the Fantastic Four Antithesis miniseries by Mark Waid and Neil Adams. Huge Neil Adams fan. Had to get it so I could look at his artwork in nice giant detail. It also reprints Fantastic Four. I want to say the right Fantastic Four 60 legacy numbering 489 by Mark Waid and Mike Rowingo. This is one of their first. This might have been their first issue in the book by the late great Mike Rowingo on art. So that's very cool. And it also reprints X-Men 65, which I'm not exactly sure of the significance behind X-Men 65, other than the fact Neil Adams drew it. I don't know how it ties into the main Fantastic Four Antithesis storyline, but I'm assuming there's something there. I don't know, maybe not.
What an interesting issue to reprint.
Yeah.
They got some great pictures in there, like the Alex Ross. You should show the
they've got
some of those.
You know, they're showing some of the variant covers that Alex Ross did. Even his pencil sketches for it also has just the variant covers for the miniseries itself. So, you know, obviously I didn't get all the different covers, but now I have all the different covers in the back of this book. So Dennis is jealous when I showed it to him. He wanted to steal it. I wouldn't let him.
Yeah, they must have been out because they didn't have any on the shelf when I was there. But remember, we did. You can go back and find. We actually did reviews of each of the original issues when we picked it up.
Yeah,
and we enjoyed the heck out of that. It was a fun mini series. So we knew they were coming out with the collection, and yeah, that looks like a winner.
Vanna White here. Cover price is $34.99, but it collects a good amount of stuff. So I thought it was well worth it. I'm looking forward to reliving that in a few. So I guess what should we talk about? Well, I guess going by our little slideshow presentation that we always do. I gotta sneeze. What? Nope. Hold on. Lord, I just sprayed COVID all over my office. Good thing nobody's over there. I did not spray in Dennis's direction. He's COVID safe, and you can't see it, but there's a plexiglass between us. See? Yep. You can't see it. Right here, plexiglass, just like Tony Romo and Joe, or not Tony Romo, just like Troy Aikman and Joe Buck doing football. So, you know, we take our COVID safe precautions very seriously.
Yeah, otherwise I would have had to hold up your Fantastic Four Antithesis
and block it like that.
Yeah,
that's nice. Not good use of Fantastic Four Antithesis.
You wouldn't be very happy with that.
So, first up on the review block is Orphan and the Five Beasts.
Now, this is interesting.
I know nothing about this book for admission.
This is one that we talked about when we picked it up the other week, and I said, you know what? I'm going to pick it up on a whim, just an absolute whim, because the art instantly attracted me. I did a YouTube short and popped it up there, you know, one of our quick flips, and we had a lot of responses from people leaving comments from different methods. Everybody talking about they really wanted to do us to do a review of it. They brought up the fact that he has other series and stuff that he's done in the past along this vein, which I picked this one up on a whim, so I was not familiar with James's previous work. So I was curious. So there was a lot of excitement. We had a lot of likes too on it. So I sat down and read it, and I was like, is this going to be a chore? No, this was not a chore. This was very interesting. So I love Kung Fu movies. I love Eastern culture and a lot of different things that, you know, I used to watch all of those. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragons, by the way, is just one of my favorite movies. Kudos to Sony for doing that. Even the second one wasn't bad. So I started reading this, and the artwork drew me in. I absolutely love this fantastic stylistic art that James, you know, does through this entire book. There's a fair amount of story here and there. But the story in many of the cases gets moved along by the artwork. Yeah, it in a lot of cases, it's not a lot of verbal things, although there's narrative perspective. you know, but there's where they're talking about some of the history and stuff on it. A lot of it is the narrator going through it. A lot of times the characters themselves, there's not a lot of dialogue. So, you know, even looking up on there, you know, you can see that there's a fair amount of, it's just narrator talking about things. You know, there's not a lot of per se character interaction. It is a very classic kung fu story, which is just really neat. It goes through and it discusses it. It talks about the demons, and it talks about the inexhaustible creatures. It is just, like, I can't say enough. It was just really cool and so against the grain of what we normally, what I would normally read either in my superhero or sci-fi. You know, I always did like Marvel's Master of Kung Fu, things like that. This wound up just being, you know, a breath of fresh air and really takes me back to the days of good old basic Kung Fu movies. The thing I liked about it is that it was picture driven and it was story. The knock on it, I don't want to spoil too much for our viewers, but there could have been a little more story. I thought it was a little lacking on it, although it is driven very, very, like I said, through the pictures and through the narrative. If you are a fan of old Kung Fu movies and you like those type of comics, this is just down there. I enjoyed the hell out of this, so much so that I already said it's staying on my pull list. I think this is like a 5-issue mini series. I'm definitely picking up this one, and I enjoyed the style so much that I am probably going to go back, thanks to some of the comments from our viewers, and they let me know about some of his older stuff. And I'm probably going to go find him and pick him up at some of the next conventions that we go to. So on this, I'm going to say, since I read it, and I don't want to give away too much, you know, we tend to do a lot of spoilers. This is one that's just, I don't want to spoil a lot. All I can say is I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 9.0. I was captivated by it. I thought that the artwork, and again, it goes through the basic, you know, Kung Fu, the teachings, some of the lore behind it. They do enough world building with what they're trying to accomplish here. You meet the big bad guy, it almost kind of feels like a video game in a way, you know. So I'm doing a 9.0 just because I can't wait for the next issue, and I think that's the key. If it's good, I know can't wait for the next issue. If it's just okay, all right, I may pick it up.
You know, like I said, I haven't read it, but just looking through it, I really like James's, and I'm going to mess up his last name. How do you pronounce that?
Stokoe.
Stokoe. James Stokoe he did everything. He wrote it, drew it, colored it, lettered it, whole ball of wax. So it's nice when you see one credit for everything. Some people, that's their dream. I'll be honest, I'd never want to fully color one of my own comics. I'd rather pay a colorist because they're much better at it than me. But the art style in this is, it reminds me of some certain types of manga I've seen before. And I really think this stuff could work in black and white just as well with the coloring. The coloring he did, it is colorful, but it's not over-rendered and overdone. He doesn't overpower his own line work, which is good. The color palette's really nice. Some of the art also has a European influence, kind of a Mobius influence in some of the background art and stuff, but his figures definitely have more of a manga feel. And the storytelling has kind of that manga feel storytelling as well, because that's a little different from American artists, the way they do their comics and stuff, the way we tell stories over here in terms of camera angles and breaking down a page and even breaking down individual actions can be different compared with American and manga. So, you know, just flipping through it, it looks really cool. I'll probably borrow it and read it. I mean, that's about all I can say without actually having read it. I love, there's a splash page of this dude, Thunder Thighs, and it totally reminds me of something I'd see on anime in a cartoon with the camera angle and how he's coming at you and the speed lines to reinforce the action and everything. It's really cool. You know, it's unique in today's market, I think. So
yeah, I agree with that. That's a good way to put it. It is very unique, and I think that's what drew me into it in the first place. Is it's not the basic.
Well, and that's the thing. In today's market, there's so many books out there that you definitely want something that's eye-catching and unique, and this definitely falls into that category, and that's a good thing because you know it stands out from the pack. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a read. You know, just from an art standpoint, I give it 8.5. It's not my usual cup of tea, and I also gravitate towards stuff like that because it's, as an artist, I look at that and I go, man, I don't, my mind just doesn't work that way. If somebody was like, I want you to draw something in this style, and they gave me this book, I could ape it. But if it was just blank piece of paper in front of me, pulling that out of my head, it's just not how I think and how I see things, which, you know, makes us all unique as artists. So yeah, it looks cool. It looks cool. Now we're gonna go on to Dennis's favorite book that he couldn't stop talking to me about. I'm like, Dennis, I get it. You love this book.
We had David Williams on Monday night, and we briefly touched on it, and I didn't almost want to, but it came up. Everybody knows I'm a huge X-Men fan. You know, I pick up everything X-Men, have forever, own all the miniseries, own all the X titles, you know, X-Force, X-Factor. That is my favorite universe that they have created over the years. So this book, Children of the Atom, was supposed to come out about a year ago. And they presented it as this new X-Men team. There's all this, excitement that they were building around it. And it was supposed to come out well before the X of Swords story came out. And they even had it listed, read this, Children of the Atom. So it was supposed to be part of the storyline. The feedback was so immediately negative that they pulled it out of rotation, even though they didn't change it in the back of the books. And they started coming forward, and they pushed it back and pushed it back. Then we heard there were lots of rewrites, and needless to say, I was like, well, they maybe got, they listened to the fans and they tried to fix the book. So I'm like, well, good. Well, let's find out what all the hoopla's about. They finally released it. We picked it up. So we get introduced to the new characters.
Can I just say real quick?
Yeah.
I read it last night. I mean, just flat out of the gate. We'll get into details, but I was bored. I could barely get through it. And I think it's just a standard 22-page book.
It is.
So I was bored. This is just false advertising because you see Children of the Atom, you see Marvel Girl, Nightcrawler, Cyclops, Angel, Gambit, and my first thought is, oh, do these kids come from the future and these are all their kids, from a future timeline that come back to the present? No. Right? No. I mean, unless I missed something, no.
So remember, there was a Children of the Atom series originally, years ago, and it was good. It wasn't bad. Remember, there was even the video game and stuff that was out there for it. So they're releasing all these new characters, and we're like, all right, well, let's find out, because in the X universe, they tend to like to release, new characters, new superheroes, new villains. You can always introduce them. Mutants are always being brought in, so it's like a factory for new heroes. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, it was billed as something new. So you've got your Cherub, which is the Archangel, basically ripoff.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing I'll say is that I didn't mind the art. I thought the art was the highlight of the book in terms of how it was drawn.
Yeah.
I I think the style itself was good. I absolutely did not like the costumes of most of them.
You know, the artist is Bernard Chang. I've known Bernard for 20 plus years, back from Valiant in the mid 90s. His art's very clean and crisp. I've always liked Bernard's artwork. So, you know, I agree with Dennis. I thought the art was cool. I didn't hate all the character designs. I kind of like the Archangel type design of this guy.
Cherub was the best one in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, let me just go back to the cover. Oops. You know, I don't actually mind the female Cyclops design. I hate the design of Marvel, whatever.
So it's Marvel Guy. So
Marvel Guy.
Marvel Boy was already taken.
Yeah.
So they've got Marvel Guy, which is basically he's Jean Grey. So again, so you've got Marvel Guy, which is basically Marvel Girl. It's just a gender bent on him,
right?
Only far less exciting.
And and getting back to the design, I just look at that and I thought it was just a chubby chick, to be honest. I thought it was a girl. And it has nothing to do with, you know, obviously not the name, because you know what the name, but just look, I get it. Yellow, green. That's Marvel Girl's costume colors. So you want to incorporate that into this Marvel guy. But I don't know, something about it. I just thought it was a chubby chick in the costume. It could be the dumb hair popping out back here. I don't know, you know, no offense if Bernard, you see this, no offense to you if you design these characters. We can't all design winners. Just personally not a fan. Some people might be. My personal opinion, not a fan of the costume. The Nightcrawler kid here, Daycrawler, I guess. That's ingenious. Daycrawler. I don't understand the helmet and the shield. Not a fan. You know,
he bamps just like Nightcrawler. So yeah. Again, so what? As we start going through it, that we'll just hit them. Cyclops is Cyclops last. It's literally really Cyclops last. So Cherub is Archangel. You know, very.
And I don't get that name.
Powers.
Cherub.
I know.
What? It sounds like a bush.
I know.
Hey, Dennis, can you go pick some cherubs off the tree for me? I'm feeling like I need a little cherub for
get my Black and Decker router there and just trim it off.
Trim the cherub tree, Dennis, for God's sakes. It's growing out of control.
Yeah, and then we've got Gimmick, which is Gambit. So the Gimmick is...
which is another dumb one, like Gambit. You know, Gambit's been around forever now, 30 years. So it's not like when he came out. It's hard to be objective because, I don't know, you just know who Gambit is. We all know what he looks like. So I get it. Gambit, energy, car, whatever. But Gimmick,
he's a thief.
Why are you
Gambit is a thief that can charge, any object, right, with the energy and explode it. And again, so you call it Gimmick is basically female Gambit. Now, the interesting thing is, it's not pictured here, but she's basically got what looks like a pin cushion right where the belt is in the comic book.
Well, that makes sense.
And she's got like pins like for sewing and stuff like that, like needles. And she pulls them out, charges them up, and then throws them. In the artwork that they were presenting to us, again, they make it look like, oh, it's Gambit. She uses cards just like him. Basically, this entire book felt like a really bad parody of all those X-Men we just talked about.
It really does.
Sidekicks.
Just look at it. And now this, I believe, is drawn by Todd Knock. It is. I see his signature. I'm friends with Todd. I really enjoy Todd's cartoony artwork. So nothing against the artwork in this piece. I think the art's fine. In fact, I love the Cyclops. That Cyclops is cool as shit. But this totally looks like a parody. It's just like, okay, hey guys, we're doing this Children of the Atom book. Let's do a overweight teenage kid in spandex for it. And I'm just, I don't like it. Story-wise, I really got the impression when I was reading it, but then you see that that's not the case. And Dennis has more backstory in this. When I was reading this, there's a scene in the book during a high school basketball game And these two characters are Gimmick and what's her name? Silas?
Cyclops Lass.
Cyclops, that's a tongueful.
Yeah.
Cyclops Lass are talking in the bleachers, you know, in their normal clothes. And the way they're talking and looking at each other, I'm like, whoa, are these two chicks into each other? What's going on? But it turns out they're not. So I was like, oh, okay. It really kind of came across like they were.
Right. Well, they did a full rewrite on it, and from the sound of it, they originally were. So now they've got like a love triangle with Cherub because they're all in high school together. So you know he's on the basketball team, and I'll call her Lady Gambit. You know, Gimmick is actually dating him, but the other girl, you feel like the dialogue comes across like she likes him. So it's like this love triangle in high school, but the art never got adapted for it. So you've got an entirely different vibe. What was written, what was drawn, they didn't mesh very well. The story is all, you know, they first encounter Hell's Bell. So those of you that are X-Men, X-Factor fans and stuff will remember. Right, AC/DC song, way better. They were a kind of an interesting team back in the day. Well, since the fall of the mutants, you know, no more mutants, they've been all depowered. So they run into the Hell's Bells and they're depowered. They all have guns and they're in the midst of a robbery. So the new X-Men team goes in there, tries to limit them. They basically get their butts handed to them at the beginning by guys with guns. So no superpowers. These people have guns. It was the lamest, worst. Oh my God. I cringed when I read this. It was just so bad. And eventually they kicked it up and did it. And they're like, oh, then all of a sudden the X-Men show up and it's like Magma. Oh, I can't remember who all show up, but 3 of the X-Men show up. Pixie, Magma, and Maggot.
Maggot. Which,
Maggot.
you know, it's like,
he's a low.
They're not even sending the A-team.
Yeah,
you know, it's like this is the first
the
issue of
X-Men.
a book. You know, you want to get me excited for it. At least if you're gonna have some X-Men show up, send in the A-team.
Right. So basically, then they cut forward and they wind up saving everybody with minimal damage, and the X-Men are sitting around. They're playing pool. So you actually got Nightcrawler and Storms there, and Wolverine, and Jean and Scott, and their dialogue is so against their actual historical characters. Wolverine's like, we need to get them to come to Krakoa, and if we have to force them, we need to do it. This is a guy who just basically went through all this crap at the school to try and protect children. His entire reasoning behind it is 100% wrong. They couldn't, none of the character dialogue between the women, and then, you know, after they're playing, you know, pool, well, I'll go see him. No, I'll go see him. And they have these touchy-feely little scenes in there. And then finally Storm and Jean were like, should we play one more game? Only if we're on the same side, says Storm. Always. Oh my God, this is not how the X-Men are. They have never been written this way. It's crap. It is such crap that the art is the highlight. I didn't mind the art. I think the art was good. This is the worst story that I have ever seen in my life. I just left the comic book shop today, and I said, I may have to stop this title, even though it's X-Men. This might be the only X title that I don't pick up because it is the worst story I have ever read in any X title, period. And there's been highs and lows throughout all the decades and stuff. This is just pure and utter garbage. I have zero interest in this book, zero interest in anyone. Basically, all those new X-Men, Children of the Atom, are sidekicks. Marvel Girl, oh, got a sidekick. Oh, Nightcrawler, oh, take a sidekick. Oh, Cyclops, oh, sidekick, with the same powers. It kind of feels like Green Arrow, you know, having the little sidekick, or Flash, you know, having the sidekick. It feels like Marvel said, we need sidekicks.
Well, it's like Young Justice. Except
Yes.
Young Justice was a pretty good book.
Yes, that was a great book. Actually, that was great.
Yeah, Young Justice was a pretty good
has
book.
absolutely no potential
Well, and then
whatsoever.
like you said, they start off and they're fighting. They're fighting that what are they called? Hell what? I already forgot.
Hell's Bells.
Hell's Bells, who were mutants but don't have powers anymore. Why is it even a fight at that point?
Right.
You've got these mutants, the children of the atom. You know, you've got all the, you know, you got the Marvel guy, Cyclops lass, you know, Gimmick, and the Archangel dude, Cherub. How can I forget that name?
Yep.
And Daycrawler. They all have mutant powers, and they're having a hard time beating these guys that have no powers and are just basically using guns. Come on.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they give, because all the mutants have been called to Krakoa. I mean, it's a mutant sanctuary. This is where all the mutants are supposed to go. And they want to force them to come join the other mutants. They have their reasons. I don't want to say they're great reasons, but at least they gave them a reason for not being on the island and trying to stay here. But that was the extent of the storytelling.
But then they end up going to it anyhow.
Right.
And the end of the book, they end up going, all right, we'll just go.
And they say, why we have to do this? And they're standing there like it's this big thing. Seriously, they show up. Anyway, this is a train wreck. I have never said that about any book, even some of the books we didn't like. This thing was a disaster. So we were talking to the comic book shop owner, and I said, wow, we were talking about before I showed up today. I'm like, here's my opinion on the book. I'm like, I might actually have to stop it. He goes, all our X-Men fans said the exact same thing. There's literally almost nobody out there that likes it. He goes, I don't know how many number 2s or 3s they're going to order, but this may be it. I don't know what else to say. This is garbage. On my CGC rating, I'm giving this a 1.
Woof.
It's garbage. This is crap. Just pure and utter crap that I have no... The art is the only reason it's getting a 1. I should give it a 2 because I like the art. If there was any cohesive storytelling and any reasoning behind it, the art should be enough to save this book, but it's not. I can't. It's just that bad. It's just that bad.
It's just weird too. Like, so in the end, the kids get together, they take a subway, they go to Coney Island under this dock, and that's where the transport gate is to go to Krakoa. And they change into their costumes, and then there's that splash page, which looks like they're going to enter the portal. And it's like, why we have to do this? And it's the group of them walking through. But then they never really walk through. Okay, so here they walk through.
Yeah,
it's ready to belong. And then I guess as they're walking through,
what is like they're in a Stargate. It's almost what you feel like.
But what is supposed to be happening here? But when the cards are flipped, I don't understand that dialogue. And then they look like they're still in Coney Island. They never went through. Or did they just come back out?
That's what it looks like.
They never went through. They literally just walked through like this.
That's what it looks like.
Wall type thing.
Yeah.
And then it just ends with this weird line of dialogue. I don't understand. It was kind of confusing. I think the writer was in above her head, actually. The writer is Vita Ayala. Wait, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Ayala. Vita Ayala. I've never heard of her before. I think this is like her first mainstream work. And I don't know if she just grasped comics or not. It was kind of confusing in certain areas. I mean, it's just, like I said, I could barely make it through it. I borrowed his, wasn't on my list. I mean, I did look through it, and it's tough because I bought other things because of artwork, and I've yet to buy. Well, I shouldn't say.
See, and I even picked up multiple copies. So
really?
I picked up. That's the regular cover, and then they had one of the secret cover. So now that cover, right?
Yeah, that's a nice one.
So you can't say that. Oh, I didn't read it. I'm an X-Men fan, and especially when a new one comes out, I have never picked up an X-Men book that I went, wow, this is just a steaming pile, and I will never pick anything up again. This has never happened. This is the first time in 43 years that I've been collecting that this is so bad that in my book, I may be actually done with this. I don't even know if I can pick up the rest of it, which is sad for me to say because it's never happened. I don't know what else to say. It's crap for me.
The sad part is he had 3 of them. And the reason he can't show you 2 is after he read it, he tore it up. It was like, oh my God, why, Marvel? Why? And now he only has 2. So
I don't know the story behind the team that they put together and what the original focus of this was supposed to be. We saw the original when they originally sent out the trailer when it was first supposed to come out, and this is the improved version. That's what makes me really scared for this, was that the original version never even came out, and this is a year of improvement on it. Seriously, I don't even know what to say. Crap, it's never coming out of my drawer boxes ever again.
I guess for my CGC rating, it's so difficult because being an artist, I don't like doing the overall. I get where, let's say I'm like, it's a 3 because it was just bad, but that's the writing. Like I like Bernard's artwork. I like his style. I actually own a piece of Bernard's original artwork from a book called The Visitor. Do you remember that book, The Visitor?
Oh, The Visitor.
From Valiant.
Yeah.
I own a piece of art from that. So I really like Bernard's style.
So break it up for you.
So if I'm going to do, I'll break it up.
Story.
Story-wise, I was bored. I give it like a 1 out of 10. Art-wise, you know, I thought the storytelling was solid. I mean, Bernard's a solid storyteller. I like his artwork. You know, art-wise, I give it an 8. So
yeah, the art was good.
So I mean, if you want to average it, that's 4.5. So I guess I'd give the whole book a 4.5.
All right,
4.5.
Yeah,
on the scale. So
yeah.
Well, let's talk about fun things like
Yes.
Invincible.
All right. So when we're talking about how do you do something in the comic industry right? Now, I will preface it this way. When Invincible, the comic book, came out, I had read the first couple of issues, and I thought it was interesting. It was all right, but that was in the heyday where my weekly stack of just Marvel stuff was so thick, and I was like, it really kind of had to capture me to draw me in. And I thought it was good. It was cute, and I thought it was fine. But I stopped after the first couple of issues, never went beyond that. And I've heard a lot of people say it was fantastic, and I was like, well, not from what I read. It was fine. If I had an extra $20 a week, I probably would have put it on book, but I never did. So I went into this.
Extra 20 a week. Good Lord, the book came out once a month. It was $4.
I know, but I'd be picking up other side non-Marvel titles.
So I read Invincible. I read it when it first came out. I eventually did kind of peel off of it, but then with I think it was issue 100. I thought, you know what, I'm going to get back to Invincible because what I was getting on a monthly basis wasn't much. And I'm like, you know what, I want a fun superhero book. I've always liked Ryan Ottley's artwork. I'm going to go back to Invincible. Number 100 is a good jumping on point. So I got it. Only, a few years later, I think it ended around 144, something like that. So unfortunately, it did end. But I really enjoyed it. I like the superhero nature of it. So when I saw they were doing a show, an animated show, I was really excited because Corey Walker started on the book as the artist. I think he did 4 or 5 issues. Then Ryan Ottley came on, and he was really mimicking Corey's artwork. And then Ryan grew into his own very soon. But they both have a very open animation type style, so perfect for a cartoon. So when they finally dropped the trailer, it looked awesome, had the same vibe as the book. So, last week, episodes 1, 2, and 3 come out, and I got my daughter to watch it. She never read any of the books. So, she had some of the same thoughts in the first episode that a guy at the comic shop that was talking about today had, which he's like, yeah, I I tried watching it with a buddy, but we just was like, oh, it's a Justice League ripoff. Who cares? And I said, dude, you got to watch more because it's not about that. It's more about, you know, the relationship between Mark and his dad. And yes, there's other heroes on this world. And yeah, Kirkman designed the Guardians of the Globe, or the Global Guardians, as Justice League type characters. You got the Batman type, the Wonder Woman type, the Flash type, a Green Lantern type, an Aquaman type. I mean, they're all there.
Yeah.
Omni-Man's like Superman. My daughter was like, oh my God, it's just like Justice League.
It is.
What's the big deal? But, you know, as you watch it and you see things unfold, and especially the end of the first, we'll spoil stuff. The end of the first episode, you're just like, holy crap, where'd that come from? And talk about moving through it fast. I went back and looked at my first trade paperback. What happens at the end of the first episode, which this is like a 45-minute episode, actually happens in like issues, I think 8. It's either 8 or 9 of the actual monthly book. So, you know, they reorganized some things for the cartoon compared to how they did the order of things in the comic.
Well, and this is where what shocked the hell out of me, because when I was sitting there watching, and everybody gets their alert, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, something's going on, and they all show up. Omni-Man walks in there, and then all of a sudden, and then the blood and gore just ensues, and I'm like, oh my God, it's kind of like The Boys, you know? I'm like, oh my God, this is so over the top.
It is 18 plus,
right?
You know,
right? I had no idea. And if Andy said,
I knew
8 or
from
9,
reading the book,
I never got that far. And had I gotten that far when it had happened originally, this would have been a comic for me for life. I loved the end of episode 1, and now, of course, I will probably have to go back and pick up some trades because I really want to see the differences. Same thing I did with The Boys. I really enjoyed The Boys so much that I went back and picked up the trades, and holy crap, I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Omni-Man, all the Guardians of it's the Guardians of the Globe, right?
Yeah,
all the Guardians of the Globe are doing their secret identity things, and each get an alert. So they all go to their headquarters. Omni-Man shows up, and Omni-Man pretty much takes out everybody. He punches a hole through one guy, crushes the Flash's head, chops off one dude's head with his hand. He gets beat up pretty bad too. So basically, when the agency, which is kind of like a SHIELD type thing, shows up, which I can't remember the name of the agency. I'm so bad with names, people. So when the head of this agency shows up, who is voiced by Walton Goggins.
I know, by the way, I got my wife hooked now, just because that's one of my favorite actors.
I love him. So he's the voice of the head of this agency, and when they show up, it looks like somebody came in and beat the shit out of Omni-Man, and because Omni-Man's so powerful, he couldn't kill him, but he was able to kill everybody else. But the thing is, and I don't look at any of this as spoilers because honestly, it's all in the book. The thing is, Omni-Man, he comes to Earth from this planet, you know, from an alien world, but unlike Superman, the alien world doesn't blow up. But they're a conquering world. They go to planets and they conquer. So he comes to this planet, meets a woman, a human, falls in love, they get married, they have the kid, that's Mark. So Mark's half human, half this alien.
It's Superman.
Viltrumite character. And it's not Superman, though, because it's the Krypton got destroyed and was a peaceful world. This world doesn't get destroyed. It doesn't blow up. And the whole point is Omni-Man is supposed to basically conquer Earth. And I assume this is what they're going to get to. They need to, he wants to enlist Mark into this.
See, and they talk about him protecting them, that when they fly off, everybody gets a planet, and then that's the planet you're supposed to protect. And I'm like, well, that's kind of noble. It's kind of Green Lantern-ish. And then they have one of, you know, the guy who was looking for coming to the planet Earth, I think, and he winds up getting the wrong planet, which is Seth Rogen winds up playing
Alan the Alien.
Yes.
Alan the Alien, the one-eyed Alan the Alien.
Fantastic.
Now, I will say that, so you know, they dropped the first 3 episodes. That's what Amazon does. After that, it'll just be 1 a week for 5 more weeks because I think it's only 8 episodes. Hat off to my buddy Mike Borkowski. He is he's a storyboard artist as well as just really talented artist. And you know, I've known Mike for almost 30 years, and he got the storyboard on the show, and he actually posted some up on Facebook. They look great. I want to talk to him, see if I can get him on our show just to talk to him about the process. You know, it's got great voice talent. Sandra Oh plays Mark Grayson's mom.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons is Omni-Man.
Just perfect.
It's perfect voice. Stephen Yeun from Walking Dead is Mark Grayson. Zazie Beetz, who was Domino, is Amber Bennett, kind of this love interest for Mark. Like we said, Walton Goggins is Cecil Stedman, who is the head of like the agency.
Susie was like, "Are you sure it's him?" I'm like, "Just close your eyes." And as soon as you heard her speak, oh my God!
Oh my God! And, you know, Zachary Quinto.
Oh
is
yeah,
Robot Man, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you hear his voice, and for me now, I used to think Heroes, but now I think Spock. As soon as you hear it come out of Robot Man, you're just like, that is just perfect for Robot Man.
Yes.
It is perfect for, it's like, Zachary, you play the perfect non-emotional character.
Correct.
You had no emotions. You were like a robot. So it's got a great voice cast.
Yeah.
It's you know,
I have no comment to base it on. So I am coming into this new-eyed, bright-eyed, and all I can say was I so thoroughly enjoyed the first 3. I literally cannot wait to actually sit down and watch the rest of this. So, wow.
Now, I do want to stir the pot because that is what I like to do. And this is I'd like to get people's opinions on this. I don't have a problem with the problem I could see that has arisen in other shows, which I think were dumb. But let's just dissect it, shall we?
Okay.
The Simpsons. I believe Hank Azaria quit a couple of his voice roles in The Simpsons because he's a white guy and he was voicing characters in The Simpsons that are not white. So Hank Azaria quit. I remember one wasn't, you know who I'm talking about, right?
He gave up some of the voices.
Right. I didn't say all.
Well, you said he quit. He dropped some of the voices.
That's what I mean. He quit doing some of the voices.
Yeah.
Hank Azaria, I believe, has voiced over 30 characters in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But a couple of the regular characters that Hank voiced were not white, Caucasian, whatever male characters.
And he was taking crap for it.
And he was getting crap for it.
Yeah.
So he said, you know what? Fine, I'll relinquish voicing those characters so you can get voice actors of that same race, nationality, you know, whatever. Okay. There's another show that did that as well, I thought, besides The Simpsons. I'm trying to think. I thought it wasn't it South Park? Did South Park do that? Or
not that I know of. I know they had an issue with Chef.
What about
Chef had a problem with the show. That's why he left. Yeah,
was it Family Guy? I thought there was another show.
I don't know.
But basically, you kind of saw this trend of, hey, you can't voice this character because in real life you're not the same, you know, race, nationality, whatever. I think it's stupid. Hank Azaria was voicing these characters for how many years?
Well, they're on 32nd season?
32nd season. The dude was voicing these characters for at least 25, 26 seasons, if not 30, when all this came about. It's just dumb. It's called acting. It doesn't matter that it's voice acting. It's still acting. You're acting like somebody else. You know, Bryan Cranston was in a movie with Kevin Hart where he was a paraplegic. I don't believe Bryan Cranston is a paraplegic. So my point is this. If you're going to hold those standards, why is Sandra Oh voicing the mother of Mark Grayson? And why is Stephen Yeun, I'm sure I'm pronouncing his last name wrong.
I pronounce it that way.
Why is Stephen Yeun voicing Mark Grayson? Because the last time I checked, Stephen and Sandra are both Asian Americans not a white teenager boy and not a white, woman wife. I mean, see how ridiculous it is? That is, and I don't have a problem with Steven. I think his voice, actually, the funny thing is, with Walton Goggins, you told Susie, close your eyes and listen. She did. She goes, oh my God, it's Walton. When I just hear Steven's voice for Invincible,
yeah,
I don't even hear his character from Walking Dead.
No.
And I'm not saying in Walking Dead because he was Asian, because he didn't have an accent in Walking Dead either. It's an Asian accent, but he sounds totally different in this. And I had no idea it was Sandra Oh voicing Debbie Grayson. It doesn't matter. Right. They're acting. Right. That's what acting is.
And we were just talking about it without knowing any, and I hope it doesn't hit this show, with just as the characters were speaking, you're like, oh, that's a great voice. That's a great voice.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with a single voice that of any of the characters in them. I thought they were great.
I thought the casting was fantastic.
Invincible nailed this casting, the voiceovers. Again, it's going to be like Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
The reason that show, it was good writing, but those voice actors, Mark Hamill as the Joker, and Kyra being Batman, they're fantastic. And that's what made the show, those voices.
Right.
This show's got the potential because now that I know what Invincible's all about, those voices are absolutely fantastic. There's a reason why I probably watched the first 23, 24, maybe 25 seasons of The Simpsons. I mean, I watched it from the very beginning. You shouldn't have gotten rid of anybody. They are those characters. I have no problem.
It's just
and I think it's dumb that any of this stuff even exists.
Well, Scarlett Johansson, I believe, backed out of a movie a few years ago because she was going to play, if I remember correctly, a transgender man. So she was going to, in the movie, her character was going to transition to a man, and they got tons of heat because in real life she's just Scarlett Johansson's a woman, not transitioned at all. So they got heat. So they pulled the plug, and she backed out, which killed the movie. And it's like, it's acting. Not everybody can act. If everybody could act, then they would just be like, we need some blah, blah, blah. Let's go find some dude on the street that looks like it meets it, because anybody can act. Not everybody can act.
As long as the voice matches the character / body that you're putting him into, like the Mauler twins. I didn't even know who it was, and I was like, oh my God, those guys are great. Right. I love those guys, and I say guys because they're twins, although one of them's a clone.
Right.
But needless to say, as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't even be an issue. And the fact that we even have to talk about this in a show that put up 3 super high quality episodes like this, it just tells me that we're being lost as a society.
Right. And we didn't have to talk about it. I just brought it up because of the stupidity of, calling out one thing, but then literally, and now this is a different show, different production company and everything. I almost wish it was the same production company as The Simpsons, because then you could really call them out and be like, whoa, guys, you're breaking your own dumb rules. But, I'm glad it's a different production company.
I am too. I'm a fan of The Simpsons, fan of South Park. I'm a fan of all of them. Family Guy, Invincible. Woo! All I can say is, for a CGC rating,
9.5. I want to go first.
It's not a real number.
God damn you and your dumb numbers. 9.5 is not a real number.
How can you be in the industry and you not know the CGC grading? Say 9.6.
Fine, 9.6. I'm giving.
And I won't even edit out the other thing. 9.6.
I'm giving Invincible a 9.6. I thought it was awesome. I can't wait till the next episode. I literally just found out that it's only an 8-episode season and 3 already done. So now I'm a little bummed. I was hoping it was more. From what I hear, it's gotten great reviews, so I'm hoping it's back for season 2.
Yep, I just verified. It is April 30th. The last one is going to air. I'm giving it a 9.4.
You bastard.
Well, you actually graded it higher. I love the hell. When the first episode started, I'm like, yeah, I remember this from the first few issues of the comics, and I'm like, it was good, but it wasn't enough for me to spend my $3.99 or at that time $2.99 a week or a month to do it. I was like, yeah, it's cute, it's good, it's a Justice League ripoff. once that end of that first episode hit, it changed my entire outlook. I had to see more. What an absolutely fantastic. I will be going back and buying the trades now and reading the books. And I already had a couple of our viewers who made a comment, and they had messaged me and stuff. And I was like, yeah, dude, I never read all the original comics. And like, what? And I'm like, I know, bad on me. After seeing this, I'm going to. This is just fantastic. Yeah, so I can't wait. You better renew season 2 and 3 and 4.
There you go. That is it for today's show. Thank you for joining us as always. Coming up is usually the Friday show. Dennis will be out of town. My wife and kid are off because it's Good Friday, so I don't know what I'll be doing. So if there's a show, I'll just pop on. And that's why you have to subscribe and set the notifications so you know when we go live. And I'll pop on and run my mouth about something for a little bit.
No happy hour, though.
No happy hour. On Monday, I'm going to have special guest Tom Zoller from his creator-owned series Love and Capes. And he's also done, which came out through IDW, but it's his series. He's also done some writing and art on My Little Pony for IDW. I think Tom might be a brony. I'll have to ask him. So tune in and find out. We both went to the Kubert School, so we can talk about the days there. And that'll be Monday night. So until then, guys, thank you for joining us, and we will see you all later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.